La la la. Oh, I'm awake. I'm alive. How your mercy.
Jackie's live in the background with a...
She's doing the ladders. We'll do them in a sec. Cheers, Jackie Jack. We won't be long.
Oh, I was looking on my my phone there and you appeared like Mr. Popoff.
Me?
Yeah, or Mrs. Popoff, or whatever it was.
Mr. Popoff.
Oh, remember Rent a Ghost?
Oh yeah, I better turn it off.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi guys. So welcome to our live after service chat. If you are wanting to jump on and have any questions or comments on what Stuart was talking about this morning, then now is your chance. We're going to have a quick little chat until you jump in on some of this. Just talking about what Stuart was speaking about in the book of Luke today. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. I've got some questions, not some questions. Actually, that's a list of party games that we're going to do later on.
Woo.
This is my list of things that I want to talk to you about.
Awesome.
List. It's not a personal list. Right, some things I need to talk to you about.
Good, go for it.
So, once again, I was in junior church. If you feel called to children's ministry and you were...
Oh, I forgot to say that. I was
got a
going to
loose
say that
end
today
and
as
you
well,
wanting
about
to
if anyone
come
wants to do children's
hang
ministry.
out, then please do call me, run.
See how the mics are now working together as well.
It's lovely.
Thanks to Mr.
Look, you could do
Poucher.
your little Madonna Vogue
I can.
thing
I'm there.
going on. Okay, so give me, I wasn't in, so tell me, what was the thing, what's the point? No, what was the thing? What is it that you wanted most for people to take away from this morning?
Remember who you are. Remember who you carry. Let's not be known for pointing the finger. If we're going to be accused of anything, let's make sure that Jesus would have done it as well. And I think that's cool.
Yeah,
really basic.
So obviously you've been chatting to me throughout this week, just talking through some of your preach and just kind of where you're going and stuff. And it's funny, isn't it? Because whether you like it or not, everyone has assumptions or impressions of what people are going to be like, aren't they? And that happens in church when people are looking at people who don't go to church, and that happens outside of church when people look at people who go to church. Yeah, so, oh, you're a Christian, you must be like this, or, oh, you're not a Christian, you must be like this, or, oh, you're from this area, you must be like this, or, you look like this, so you're like that, or whatever. And I know you were talking about the call of Levi and how, unless you changed it all, how you were saying how people didn't want to associate with, I'll use the word sinners, but I hate that, with people who weren't following God in case it rubbed off on them. But the thing that struck me, like that you just said just then, is that actually it's not just about, because it's wise to not go to places where you're weak and are likely to be tempted beyond your own strength. But actually, one of the things that will stop people from connecting is the worry of what other people will think of them. Yeah. By associating themselves with certain people or with a certain look and those assumptions. And it's quite funny because I was thinking about you and your life. I'm just going to bring everything back to your own personal testimony of actually a lot of people you've had to kind of not change how you talk, but talk a bit slower sometimes, or how people can jump to a conclusion because of perhaps your accent or because of where you're from.
My stance, where I stand,
your general
where I
happy
talk.
face.
Yeah.
Face.
Face.
So how would you then say, if we're talking about, okay, you know, we're meant to be the light in every area, and we talk about darkness like it's some crazy thing, but it just means we're bringing Jesus where Jesus isn't, and we're being him, being the light in every situation. So how do you shield or guard yourself then from going all the way or being influenced and actually, you know, because Paul says, doesn't he, I'm all things to all men so that they'll all be saved. But he's not talking about compromising his faith. How would you encourage us, or what would you say about how we should shield and guard ourselves.
Purpose. I think so. That is that always that thing of, I remember people have said it to young people as well, and I get it. That whole thing of, all you're doing is hanging out with non-Christians. All you're doing is putting yourself in that place. They're not good for you, the what they do. And I get that. That's cool, because what happens at that moment, you're just hanging out. And actually, there's no purpose in it. And also, are you going into places where it's weaknesses for you, like you just said, and not strengths? And so what happens, you get influenced. You should be the light going into the darkness, and light shines in the darkness, and wherever light is, darkness flees. And so actually, that's what you should do, and that's good. That's what Jesus was doing. He's light, so he was going into the darkness where the dark reigns in that sense, and he was bringing light. And so light was shining. People were seeing the light. Everyone likes the light compared to darkness. I lived in darkness.
Except perhaps a mole.
Yeah, I can't even speak. I don't know what's saying else in the water. But yeah, and so Jesus being light. And so if we are part with Jesus, then we are light. And if we're light, then we should be in the darkness. We're not called to just do Sunday morning, Bible study, prayer meeting, and not do anything else. We are called to be light. So how can we be light if we're just sitting in our buildings?
Yeah, and I think
basically
you hit back on it again with last week and Emma the week before. I think in mirroring Jesus, he was a light, and so he went into the dark places, and he was fully confident that it wasn't a compromise on who he was, because actually it wasn't all he did. He spent a lot of time withdrawing and being with the Father. So he only did what the Father said. So actually, you were right when you were saying.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not saying it. That sounded really bad, didn't it? Well done. You're correct. I'll let you have that one. But it's true, isn't it? If all you're doing is spending your time away from God, trying to witness, you're not actually filling yourself with God. And it's having that balance, isn't it, of making sure that you withdraw, that you're taking time daily to be filled and replenished with God and in his presence, which then means that you take that light into areas. And I think that is a good way of guarding yourself. Wherever you go, you can be light. Darkness could just be the supermarket or the school gate or your office place. Yeah. It's wherever Jesus isn't. Yeah. So you're carrying him there. So you need to be filled up. So it comes back down to us looking at this whole word breathe. You take time to breathe, to take time to be in his presence, to fill yourself. Emma touched on it in talking about giving off from being empty. We're never truly empty. We're just constantly being refilled. You will be giving out of empty if you're not being constantly filled. And you actually end up just being a free flow. And that's on purpose. Absolutely.
That has to be a purpose. Yeah. That doesn't just, magically happen. It's a purpose. That you have to purpose that in your life. To be being filled, you have to purpose that. Do you know what I mean? It's not just there we go, done. It's purpose. How many times can I say purpose?
I don't know, try and say it another couple of times so I find my place.
Purpose.
I like what you said just when I said what is the main thing. It's about being you, isn't it? And I've heard lots of different people say, I went off and did something, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realise you like that kind of thing. Like, oh, no, well, I'm completely different when I'm with that lot of people. I'm completely different with them than I am with this group of people. Or I'm so different when I'm at school than I am at church. Or I'm so different than I am at work than I am at, when I'm out with this group of friends. Yeah. And that's not, we're not
That's not true to your design.
No. And while, yes, okay, there will be differences about how I act or speak in front of a school assembly to my kids at home, our kids at home.
Hello. I'm joking.
Which one's
I said that this morning.
Which one's which?
I said that this morning about me, that we have unreal expectations of people like our kids. And I said, why are you still doing that? I've told you 4 million times. I'm only 2. Do you know what I mean? That sort of,
absolutely.
and we do that with
And we
non-Christians and
respond.
Christians.
We respond differently, don't we?
Yeah.
That happened actually yesterday. I will admit it. Tom's in the room, so I'm going to use Tom as an example. Your first Sunday, you're an example, Tom. So basically, I was in the toilet, and I heard someone come up outside. And it's usually the moment you go in the toilet, it's the kids banging on the door, wanting something. You're like, oh, for goodness sake, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. He was very gracious. He hasn't mentioned it, but literally, so Tom would obviously come up and knock tentatively on the door, and I'm like, what? Or I went, yes! For goodness sake. And it was like, oh, sorry. I was like, oh, no, sorry. I had a moment. And suddenly all turned nice. And then I felt immediately convicted of like, oh, why don't I do that to the kids every single time they do?
Yes.
But it does
I
call
always
us
think
to
that
being
too.
genuine, and being genuine in our faith, and being genuine in who you are wherever you are. And I think that's different. I think that's what Paul's getting at, of being all things to all men. You don't change who you are, but you remain open to others around you, and that allows you just to love on people. I think love is the key. But this is how wonderful God's true love is, because it doesn't hold anything against anyone, and it's so gracious and so patient and so freeing for people to be themselves in your presence. That's the key.
So the question I asked this morning, it was very good. I like the fact that lots of people answered it in one go. I said, what's the difference between you, if you're saved, and someone that isn't saved, that doesn't know Jesus? What's the difference? Jesus. Quite simply. So the only thing that stops you being in that place where they find themselves, Jesus. Nothing you've done. And this is the problem with the religious and the Pharisees in this point, is that it's almost they have done it. It was like taking 10 laws that Moses got off a mountain from God, and at that point in time, there was something like 715 laws. How to wash your hands so that you're holy. Stuff like that, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's not God. That's not what God's desire for us is.
I think it's just not recognising the freedom that Jesus was bringing.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time and a place where that was needed to realise how much they were loved and set apart, but they took that on themselves as their identity rather than God. And I think we can all busy ourselves with doing things or acting in a perceived certain way.
That's when we get to that. Pointing finger.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry,
like,
this.
what?
Look, I should have done that. That's when we get to that.
I was like, what?
That's when we get to doing that in life.
What?
Pointing.
Yeah.
Pointing.
Yeah.
And it is a silly old saying.
Oh, you're not.
And fingers point back at you. But in that sense, it does. But it's very true. As much as we think, oh, goodness me. But it's very true. It does. And actually, that's ugly. And we need to get rid of that. I know that's not particularly lovely, but for fist pumping, it's cool.
I love how God fills you and anoints you and blesses you. It does worry me about how cheesy you get.
Yeah, I know. Happens. Reason for the season.
Right, well, any questions from the audience?
Which will be happening as we move and as people, it will be that we'll leave chairs out so that church can still be here and do this after service, and just chuck questions.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I'm going to stop preaching at that point. I'm joking.
Chicken. Okay. Well,
I'm done. Are you happy?
I'm happy. You happy?
Are you happy that I said the right stuff?
I think I can always go back over it and correct it later and then write apologies to everybody out there. But no, I think you've done well, very well. Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're
Lynn.
going to go
Thanks,
and partake.
Thanks,
Did you hear
Lynn,
that, Mum? Did you hear
for
that?
saying, oh, you've done well. Well done. Well done.
Okay. Right. Well, we love you. We're going to pop off. It is Grace's birthday, so we're going to celebrate. And
I'm going to put the Barbie out because it's nice weather.
We will catch up with you all later on. Have a great week. You can join us
later.
on the book club tonight or
tomorrow
night, or on the prayer meetings from Tuesday through to Friday. If you want to know more, just give us a shout. It is cool, and we will catch up with you later on. Okay, are you going to run and turn us off so we're not live anymore? Stuart's now going to run, Annika Rice style, all mic'd up. We could do that now. We could do some kind of church challenge like Annika Rice, where you could run round. We'll have a video on you. Get you a nice pair of lycra leggings. That's a thought for everyone. Think you want to, they could see that on the camera. Oh, nice. Okay, bless you guys. We love you. Have a fantastic week. And we will see you all soon. Goodbye.